This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in New Mexico. I'm here with Talent Specs. Since 2017, they've been helping you navigate the job search landscape with personalized solutions so you can position yourself effectively in the job market. I'm joined here with the recruiting specialist, Bethany Wallace. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to start off a little bit about yourself. You were formerly educated at the Metropolitan State University of Denver, with over a decade in the recruiting industry for multiple companies, including People Scout, Blue Cross Blue Shield, to Salesforce and Honeywell. You really set out to support equitable, ethical recruitment practices. But now you really have become supporting people in our areas in the job search process. Share with me a little bit about your history before you launched out on your own.
Yes, I don't think anybody starts out their career looking to be a recruiter. That's not usually a career goal. But I was working with nonprofits right out of college, doing grant writing, and found myself in recruiting in the way that sometimes you just do. And there was such positive alignment in knowing how to find what the company is looking for, what the person is looking for, and making that connection. So I think that it can often be approached with sales mentality, but I found the human connection of meeting people's goals and companies that are looking for people to meet their goals to be incredibly satisfying.
You've been on both sides of that table. On one side of the table, we have a job waiting. On the other side is the talent really to fill that job. Educate us. What role does a recruiter play in that scenario?
So ideally, they understand what the company, what the hiring manager is truly looking for, between skills, hard skills, like maybe a software engineer with specific languages, or soft skills. Are they people-centered, collaborative? Because you don't have to be people-centered or collaborative as a software engineer. So sometimes it is finding the right person for that position. And often it just takes having the conversation. And so ideally, the recruiter is boots on the ground to speak to candidates to make sure that they're aligning their needs with the open opportunity.
Yep, definitely out doing the footwork there, and one ear on the ground, as you say. According to the U.S. Chamber, there are about 8.2 million job openings in the U.S. With workers submitting 2 to 3 applications a day for jobs, the sheer volume of applications must be exhausting for a recruiter. Is that true?
I agree. I really do. I think that there's a combination of things happening that I'm really seeing making that effort more difficult right now. As technology has improved our access to open positions, and AI or algorithms increasing the availability of open roles, and oftentimes it can be a little misguided. So when you maybe set up a profile at Indeed or ZipRecruiter, they will send you positions based off of keywords in your resume, and that might not be a good fit for you. So that can lead you to apply to a position, or lead a candidate to apply to a position that is not a good fit. And then the recruiter is tasked with sifting through maybe 10 times the applicants for a position.
So not only do you have to know what the person on the other side of the table is thinking, how they process that, but how a computer maybe processes your profile as well. And
Yes.
With many applicants really vying for the job, I imagine it can feel hopeless for the applicant at times. Is this really where you're able to help people? Have you seen that firsthand?
It has been a great sense of honestly, I think joy, if that's what we're allowed to have in our careers these days, is working with people. And I think this has become maybe my strong suit this most recently, is working with people who have hit that kind of level of despair in the process, where it doesn't seem like I see them lower their standards. And I saw this early in my career when we were coming out of the 2008 recession, and I'm kind of seeing it again. And it's like, if I could tell anybody anything, it's to get so clear about what it is you truly want to do, because that job is out there. But as long as you're clear, and that's something that I really find great satisfaction helping somebody maintain that clarity, get to that clarity, and then maintain it so that you can see the position that truly meets your needs on all of the levels. And having a conversation start at one place in my hour of advisory meetings, and end in a completely different place where the person is feeling incredibly enthusiastic about the potential for themselves.
So once again, it's really about putting the right person with the right job. And obviously, it's always the challenge how to stand out in that marketplace. I mean, let's face it, what looks good on paper in a resume does not always match up with what is revealed in an interview. How important is being able to talk about your skills and your experience, not only in a convincing way, but maybe even in an assertive way, would you say?
That I think that is another aspect that people become so cautious and sounding like I did this, and that might might be a collaborative position, or nobody wants to sound greedy about their accomplishments. But it's when you're writing your resume, when you're showing up to a hiring manager or company, you must put forth the fact that you have accomplished these things. You have value in what your experience and your skill set, and so making as simple as it sounds, a definitive statement on what you have done is critical.
I always say it's so important to be able to toot your own horn. That's something we're not really taught in school at all. I mean, I began CNTV because most owners were great at what they do, but most were really not comfortable saying how great they were. I mean, do you find that same challenge with individuals, and is this where you can really help them?
Absolutely. There is such a shift, and being able to use terminology that is easy and clearly understood by the listener, in this case, the listener being the hiring manager. So helping them kind of deconstruct their experience so that they can truly communicate what they have accomplished.
Speaking of terminology and language, I mean, you actually break down the language so that your clients use to describe themselves. I mean, making sure it does not diminish their accomplishments, but really promotes them. I mean, do many not realize that they're even doing that when they're speaking?
I know we all want to believe that we're very unique, but it is incredibly common that we tend to use we. And so the reader's going to read it as a group effort versus I, where, I did this, or I accomplished this. I created that solution. And that's what that hiring manager needs to hear when they're hiring you.
Interesting. I mean, there's many resume writing services out there that exist, yet this is beyond resume help. I mean, instead, you're helping clients see themselves really in that role and take ownership and have confidence in themselves. I mean, so is this a very personalized service? Sounds like it's very tailored to your client.
It has been. I think at one point I saw myself perhaps just helping folks with their resume, or maybe walking them through what the experience of the new landscape of the job market looks like. But I found that the greatest success I'm seeing is with folks that I have that are open to having that conversation, of getting a little bit more personalized with looking at how they speak about themselves.
Does your initial advisory session actually conduct a job search for your clients? And does that search align with their existing resume? Kind of explain to me what that process is in that particular initial service.
Yeah, absolutely. So the initial conversation, kind of the introductory conversation, is going to be free time. We're just making sure that we actually want to work together. And from there, and then looking at their resume, before an advisory call, I will conduct a job search on their behalf so that we have a clear alignment that we're talking about what they want to do. And then we're going to use the preferred position or priority position and combine that to tailor their resume. And in that process, we are going to break down that language or defining their experience in a way that I just see them light up and they realize who they really are and what they've really done.
Powerful session. I mean, for those who out there who are maybe targeting a career change, or maybe they're finding challenges and moving beyond the application step, how can a job search exploration session kind of help them out in that area?
So this is where I can never make a promise. It's mostly that I've just seen this happen now several times where once they get very clear about what they're looking for, that their resume aligns and their ability to speak to that experience it clarifies and settles versus being unclear or a little chaotic. There seems to be just a movement, and I honestly can't explain it. I honestly don't know what shifts really take place that all of a sudden there's just a greater movement towards either an interview or second interviews or offers.
You really are the bridge between that old job and a new opportunity, the bridge between one side of the table and the other side. I mean, Bethany, you help others to speak more with clarity and certainty. I mean, they're going to feel less alone in the job search, and they're going to feel better equipped to manage that process. Is this rewarding work for you?
Absolutely. I feel like it has slowly developed. And so having to take my own advice about getting clear about what I want to do and helping people that do exactly as you said, to get clear and feel less alone. Because I think when that despair settles in, it is really difficult because that starts to come across a little bit of despair, bitterness, or resentment does not translate well in the job search.
Making sure everything's in alignment from their profile to their resume to what they want to that job, making sure everything lines up. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is our website. On the website, you can basically schedule a free introductory call. Find out if she's going to be a good fit for you, decide if you want to work together in that way. And then if you are ready, really, to demystify the search process, engage your potential employers, and really stand out from the crowd, you want to reach out today. Once again, that is Talent Specs. Unlock your talent potential. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.